coming war against the darkness in the north, the conqueror's dream. Viserys shared it with me when he named to me heir.
My brother was a slave to his omens and portents.
Oh my goodness, what a great episode, guys. Did you watch that? Did you watch House of the Dragon? In this video, I'm going to break down the season finale of House of the Dragon. First of all, it leaked on Friday, which was kind of crazy. I did watch it on Saturday. And yeah, technically I should have gotten this video out to you sooner, but hey, it kind of messed up with my schedule. So let's get into this now. Let's talk about House of the Dragon. And I think the first thing that really stood out to me in this episode was the parallels with the previous episode. And similar to Alicent and Otto Hightower's, you know, how we saw the parallels with their inner conflicts within House Green, we see the same with Team Green. We see the same with Team Black. And in this case, it's Daemon versus Rhaenyra. But I feel the conflict between the two of them is a lot more subtle. Well, apart from obviously when he strangles her in this scene here. But it's a lot more subtle than it was even in the Greens. It was clear that Alicent and Otto were battling against each other. Right? Not battling, but seeing who could get their hands on Aegon. Now, in this case, the power dynamics are different. You know, the division in this camp is a lot different. In the last case, it was about who had proximity and control over Aegon, who is the king. In this camp, with the Blacks, it's very clear Rhaenyra is the heir. Now, this struggle is not about who's going to take control, but it's about how is Rhaenyra going to take control? And we see Daemon like this backseat driver who is so eager. This is his only opportunity to actually have proximity to ruling and actually have a say so. And immediately as the episode begins and he finds out, you know, that they've stolen her throne, he takes that position and he begins fighting. He begins figuring out how he's going to win this war. He gets into battle mode. And in his view, he doesn't even need her permission to do anything. He's ready to go ahead with it because he sees it. I guess probably the way that he's envisioned her leadership is that he would have a lot more control. But you see, the truth is, Rhaenyra made it very clear. She made it very clear to her sons, who are her heirs, do not allow them to do anything, especially Daemon, without my permission. So that's a very interesting dynamic there. So it's really about the how of ruling as opposed to the who with the Greens in the last episode. This is about how is the kingdom going to be ruled, and that's the inner conflict that we see in House Black. So when it comes to Daemon, I think he has a very complex relationship with ruling and power and his proximity to it. You know, he's this backseat driver, and we saw him with Viserys always getting stopped and blocked, and you know, Viserys was always very, you know, overt about almost, I won't say rubbing it in his face that he wasn't a leader, but blocking him. He was a blockade. And Rhaenyra, a woman who naturally is more submissive by nature, she doesn't have that same kind of blockade. In addition to that, that is his lover. You know, that is his woman. So he has a lot more influence with ruling in this case. But still, I think what bothers him is the fact that, number one, he sees his brother in her, the passiveness in what he would look at it as, but really it's the peacefulness, right? Her unwillingness to, you know, jump into a war immediately. He sees it as a sign of weakness. He's called his brother weak for that many times. And he wants to be the leader. He wants to take over. But Rhaenyra isn't letting it happen. So why did he strangle Rhaenyra? Why did he strangle her in that scene? Because of her peaceful leadership and what he defined as weakness. You know, we saw him say that with his brother, Viserys, and used to drive him crazy. He called him weak in front of all, everybody in the throne room. And I think this strangling her, the reason he strangled her was his one opportunity to seek vengeance to Viserys, because of that weakness that he sees in her, which is the peaceful behavior, the need to keep peace in the realm. He sees this, he's a man of war. He sees this as a sign of weakness. And strangling her for the first time, he has this access to end her life. This is something that he's always wanted to do to his brother, who was behaving in the same way, but he never had the opportunity. How many times did we see Daemon in the throne room and we saw guards blocking him from speaking to his brother? He would say something and there would be guards that would, have their swords ready to deal with him if he tried anything. But Rhaenyra, being his wife, he really has that opportunity to be with her one-on-one. He really has that opportunity to speak to her in her face. And it's like in the moment where he gets those feelings, all those times that he wanted to strangle Viserys, he gets to do it with her. He gets to take that opportunity finally. But obviously he knows that if she does die, he will lose everything, all his ambition that he's had all his life. And he obviously doesn't take that opportunity, which is smart. I don't think he intended to kill her. I just think it was one of those like sibling rivalries that he finally got his comeuppance, or finally got his opportunity to strangle her, which he's always wanted to do with his brother. And when he sees that glimpse in her, he does that. And it's funny because even in that moment, they're actually talking about Viserys. In that moment when he does strangle her, they're talking about Viserys, they're talking about his weakness as a king, and then he takes that opportunity to strangle her. So I think it's a great moment in the story.